What's going on, guys? Today we're looking at yet another Nintendo Switch 2 grip. We've checked out several already. The most recent one I reviewed was the Neo grip from Savage Raven. I liked it. I've been using it a little bit more. I think it's a really good grip for ergonomics. But on the quest to find the perfect grip, I stumbled upon this JSAUX product. I've never used any other products before, but it seems like they make good products for PC gaming handhelds, so I figured I'd give this a shot. They have a couple different versions. They have one is a different version of this. I think it's not split. You can't split the Joy-Cons, so it's one protective case. And it has a different type of front cover. They also have one that's coming up, which is basically the split protective case, I believe. And it has a magnetic cover, which is different than this one, which I believe is just plastic with a foam insert inside. So let's check this one out and see if it could beat any of the Savage Raven ones, or if at this point you're better off just waiting for the Satisfy Zen Grip 2. Oh, there goes the foam. This is the front cover, I believe. Yes. Oh, that is very, very hard. It is. Is it plastic? Yeah, it is plastic, but it feels doesn't feel shallow at all. Probably because you have this foam insert here. It's not particularly springy, but it should do a really good job actually protecting your Switch screen, which is the whole point. And you have the game card holders here. Got Breath of the Wild here. Let's go into this one. And it just glides right in. Got to put a little bit of pressure to get it out, obviously. You see right there. Pull it out. Pretty easy. It's definitely in there. It's not gonna move. No, yeah, that's sturdy. Just put a little bit of pressure to bring it out. Not bad at all. Then we have the middle piece, which I have heard some not great reviews, people saying it's very flimsy. Yeah, it is flimsy. You can see just right here. Yeah. This moves a little bit, but once we get it on, it might be a different story. It's like a transparent type of plastic. Then we have the actual Joy-Con grips. I'm interested in these because, oh, these actually feel, yeah, these feel nice. The texture here feels like the texture on the stand grip, which is kind of what I wish Savage Raven would have done with the Neo grip instead of just using a plastic that has no texture whatsoever. You can see it right there. It's slightly different, but not really. It's actually very similar. Bringing the Neo grip here. As you can see, it has these little micro bumps, but they don't really do anything. They're pretty much just flat, and it just feels like a normal plastic. It feels a little bit better than the Play Vital Beyond that I've checked out recently, but this kind of textured grip, rubberized grip, is what I like. I think it's rubber. I'm not totally sure. It might just be plastic and it has so many like little perforations that it feels like a rubber, but it's nice. And we've got the other one here. You see it's got the holes for the Joy-Cons to click it off, the Switch itself. On the inside you have a little bit of a rubberized material here, so you have a little space with the actual plastic of the Joy-Con itself. Pretty good thinking on JSAUX's part. Let's actually put it on. Got my Switch 2 here. I believe this goes in first. It just comes in. It is flimsy, but that was pretty easy. Let's see if it's aligned well. Game card, easy. Got the ports. The vents look good there. And it actually doesn't have buttons for the power button and the volume button, which I actually like. I like when it's open and you don't have to click on a button on the actual grip in order to actually for the button to register, which is something that the stand grip has that I don't love. Got the ports there. Let's actually put the Joy-Cons on. By the way, you do have access to the kickstand. So this JSAUX case is kind of giving you everything you need so far, but it's going to come down to how good the grips feel. And I did see that some people were scratching their Joy-Cons, and I think you gotta do it first like this. You put it in, you kind of latch it on there, and then you just slide it in. And there it is. Oh, it clicked. Well, whatever I did, it worked. Put it back on there. Boom. Now let's do the other one. I don't see any scratches, at least not yet. Boom. So this grip case is kind of similar to the dbrand Killswitch 2 in terms of you actually being able to put separate grips on the Joy-Cons and then on the body itself. I like that you have access to the kickstand. The grips really do feel good, and it gives you more ergonomics than the stand grip, for instance, would. Right off the bat, the one thing that I don't love is that when I have my fingers like this, it's touching this right here. So it's not a huge deal, I'd probably get used to it. Yeah, the grips actually feel really good. The ergonomics feel good. Let's get some free roam action in. Now let's see how easy it actually is to take off the Joy-Cons. That was easy. Got her off here. Back on. Boom. Right there. So, another question you might be having is if you're going to get a dbrand Killswitch 2 type of issue where if you hold it, the switch like this, if it comes off. And it's definitely flimsier when you do that. And if I move it, it might come off. Yeah, you can see it's bending there. So it does seem to have a similar type of issue that the Killswitch 2 had before they did the revision. So it's something you might want to think about. But how many of you are holding it like this? I would usually just put my fingers underneath this and hold it like this. So I don't think that should be a problem. Let's actually put the travel cover on. Get it from the top. That doesn't feel great, but you are just making contact with the actual grip case itself and not the Nintendo Switch 2. So this is what it would look like. It does add a little bit of heft, but not much different than if you had an actual carrying case. This is what it looks like from the back. This is what it looks like from the front. Now let's try to take it off. Okay. That is suboptimal. When I took it off, this came off also. I didn't see it come with adhesive strips either, so if you wanted to do that, I guess you would maybe have to buy your own. But that's interesting. A lot of these brands, a lot of these companies do give you the adhesive strips right off the bat. But yeah, it is flimsy, can't lie. You can see that here. I guess you could technically just use the Joy-Con grips themselves without the back plate. I'll say I really don't love, as you can see, like, I don't know if you could see that, but you can hear that too. The Joy-Cons really are a bit loose. I think it's a product of just the Nintendo design by itself, because the Killswitch 2 obviously was having the same problem, as I'm sure many of you have seen by now. I mean, it's not a bad grip. Like, I really like the texture. It doesn't add a ton of weight. I would say it's probably similar to the stand grip overall. And the ergonomics aren't too bad. I don't love that the actual Joy-Cons, when I click the R button, I'm actually also hitting this little area of the Joy-Con grip, but that's kind of unavoidable. unless they would have ended it like right here, but then I don't know if that would have been an actual possibility design-wise. The ergonomics are pretty good. I don't find myself actually gripping like a controller. It's probably missing like a little ledge here, like the trigger grips of the Neo grip and some other ones, but I'm not like splaying my fingers out like this like I usually do with the stand grip. Got him. Every time I move a little bit, this move. For me at least, as someone who really doesn't take the Joy-Cons off very often, I just don't think this is the case for me. I would rather just use a stand grip and take it on and off because it's quite easy to take on and off. But if you're a person who really uses the Joy-Cons and you detach them a lot, I think it could be a pretty good option. I don't love how flimsy this is. Grip itself feels good. The texture on the grips is really nice and it's quite flared out, so you are getting a pretty ergonomic feel. I think for me at least, I just don't really need a case that's detachable like this. But it is easy to detach, and if that's something you're interested in, I definitely think you should at least check it out. Maybe wait until the one with the magnetic cover comes out, because I feel like that's just a better solution than this. This is just, doesn't feel the best coming on and off. It will give you protection when you put it in the bag, probably better than the magnetic cover. And it does have the game card holders. I'm not sure if the magnetic cover one will, but it's a pretty good design, and overall as a product, I don't mind it. I just don't think it's going to be for me. Now let's see if this fits with the grips into the EDC carrying case from Savage Raven. Unfortunately, no. It's just a little bit too slanted outward, which a stand grip is more vertical. That's why that one fits in there, and this one doesn't. But you do get the travel cover, so you don't really need a carrying case. But if you had one and want to put it in here, I don't think it'll fit in a slim one. Time to check if it's dockable. I think it docks. It's not actually aligning, probably because this is so flimsy. Let me see if I can line it up properly. It's not actually going in. That is weird. Let's try it without the back plate. Now it's in. This thing sucks. I really wanted to like this case, and I thought it could have been not the perfect all-in-one solution, but at least a good solution until some of these companies came out with better products. But there are just too many weird things going on with this case. This backplate is almost it is the biggest issue. Just because it's so flimsy, doesn't feel good on here. I don't think it's contributing anything. It's not even really that durable for protection. It's causing dockability issues. They need to go back to the drawing board on this. The actual Joy-Con grips themselves feel good, and they're quite ergonomic, and they fit well with the Joy-Cons themselves. So that part's good, and technically you could use it without the back plate, but I really don't like this thing that so many people have had an issue with similar types of grip cases. But if you wanted to check it out, I'll have an Amazon affiliate link down below. And if you have checked it out, let me know what you guys think in the comments, because maybe this is just not for me and it's for you, and that's perfectly fine.